Welcome into episode 9 of the NAHL's podcast, Short Shifts. I'm Brandon, of course, joined by Vinny. Been a little minute. It's been a minute since we've got a pod out. Granted, we've been a little busy, but I'm just
We
gonna
had
leave
a few
it
things. We had a few things going on. A lot of different events. A lot of different things. Traveling all over. So we're back. Then we're back.
We're back. We're back, and it's gonna pick up again here. Few weeks we have the Fraser Cup, which we'll talk about in this episode coming up with the 20 teams that remain. Then combine season starts. We're gonna be all over the place, and then before you know it, I'm looking at my calendar over here like every episode. But on the 19th, Robbie Cup stuff starts in May, so it's crazy how quick the season's really been. Like you look at the
Oh yeah.
calendar, I guess, like you look at the calendar in September or I guess August, you're like, gosh, like summer's over already and we're in full force, but 2 months left, 3 months
Yeah,
left, I guess.
it's the home stretch for sure. It's the home stretch where we're gonna be seeing like you said, the Fraser Cup, 3HL guys. We're gonna be going to the combines looking for future NHL players, and then the granddaddy of them all, the Robertson Cup up in
Mhm.
Blaine. It's gonna be basically 2 months from now, we're gonna have a champion.
We are. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. And like you kind of said that it's coming to an end here shortly and it's going to be really interesting to see who comes out in the top 4 places of each of these divisions that we're going to talk about here like we do every episode, but um I want to say a lot has changed since our hiatus from episode 8, but we still kind of got the same teams atop of every conference right now. We talked about Maryland at the beginning of the year, how they're going to be untouchable. We did get chirped for that. We talked about how Lone Star is boring. Shout out to RA and Wildfong, who I saw Dan Wildfong a few nights ago at a Stars game, and he chirped me again for calling them boring. But they're in second place right now. Oklahoma's holding on to that spot in the South. But what have you seen, Vinny? I guess over before we get into our little rundown and filling in everybody of over the past, I don't know if I want to say how long the last episode's been, but since the last
But
episode.
I would say the only thing that's like kind of been not, I wouldn't say shocking because it's North American hockey. There's a lot of parity, but like anyone could be anyone any given weekend. Like you go look around, like there was a time where Lone Star was untouchable and they weren't boring, I guess, if you want to call it that. But then they would they went through a little hiatus where they lost a few games to Amarillo. Like I believe they got swept the weekend of top prospects.
Mhm.
Um, Oklahoma just went on a heck of a run, 15 in a row. Finally lost the last couple of home games here. The Midwest, like just flip a coin every night, and you might be
Exactly.
right 50% of the time because Fairbanks will get swept by Anchorage, and then Kenai will sweep Janesville, but then Kenai will get swept by somebody else,
Mhm.
and
And
then it's just
Minnesota's,
like
yeah.
it's a Wisconsin's been really good. The Central, I mean, Austin is stayed up toward the top there, but like everywhere else, like I think it's second through last place is like 5 points separates all five of those teams. Like
Yeah.
everyone's still got heck of a chance to make the playoffs with a couple weeks to go.
Yep.
The East, that we're going to mention it. There's a certain guy in Philly who just won't allow any goals. So
Hmm.
it's been a wild season, and really, if you had to, and we're not going to make any picks right now, but if you had to start your March Madness bracket for the Robertson Cup, I mean, you can go any which direction with who's going to get there.
April 15th, I believe, is the last weekend of regular season play. So if I take a look at my calendar here off to my side, I shoot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 6, 7 weeks, give or take, until all the cards are on the table for the finale going into the postseason.
Yeah, and the playoffs themselves are going to be crazy, but just who's going to get in? Like
Right.
every team outside of a few, like they still got a legitimate shot to be in the postseason.
Let's kind of dive right into our little thing we do every episode, just kind of jumping into every conference. We'll take a look first, obviously, with the Central Division. Austin Bruins lead the Central 30, 12, 3 and 4, 67 points, 6 and 4 in their last 10 games played. They're led by Gavin Morrissey, 53 points in 49 games. Walter Zacher and Austin Solani are helping out offensively as well, 47 points and then 46 points. Defensively, James Gaffredo and Jack Malinsky both playing strong from the blue line, adding a lot of points, 34 points for Gaffredo, 33 for Malinsky. And then we talk about the two-headed monster in net with Trent Wyman. Trent, how do you say that? Wimkin?
Uh,
Wymankin?
I Winekin.
Winekin? All right, try that again. And then a two-headed monster in between the pipes with Trenton Winekin and Ethan Robertson sharing the pipes. Winekin, 16-5, 1-1 record, 2.12 goal against average, and a .915 save percentage. Other side, Ethan Roberts, 13-5, 2-3 record, 2.15 goal against average, and a .915 save percentage. So pretty much exact same stats for both of them, whether that's the record, goal against average, save percentage. So they're pretty strong in between the pipes and up front. And defensively, they're pretty solid, and they lead that division right now. Again, 67 points, second place behind them, Aberdeen, and then all the way down. The rest of them can go back and forth in the last month of play and month and a half of play to see who's going to fill in those second, third, fourth spots.
Yeah, I mean Austin. The one thing you can say about them is that they're consistent. I guess most goals in the division, fewest given up. So if you look at their goal differential, they're a +43, where everyone else is either minus or barely over 0. So, I mean, they right now are playing the most consistent hockey. I'm not saying, I'm not saying they're going to, be the shoe and make the Robertson Cup, but of all the divisions, I think that one's one where they are certainly a step ahead of everyone else at this moment. Obviously, they can get beat any given night, like we've talked about, but they find ways to win. They've got 30 wins, the most wins in that division. Everyone else, 23, 24, 24, 20. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. Yeah, it's coin flip. I think, Austin has a nice little cushion of making up 14 points over, 11, 12 games is, not impossible, but very tough. So we could kind of maybe pencil them in as the division winner. Like you said, the rest of those teams, though, if you look at the thing, everyone's split the last couple weekends. They're split. Right. There's no winning streaks, no losing streaks. It's like, we split last weekend. Oh man, that stinks.
Yeah.
Nobody gained any ground on anyone probably. Like maybe if you got that bonus loser point, maybe you got, instead of the team getting 2 points on you, they got 1. But it's just a crapshoot. Like really, it's just like let's roll the dice and let's see what happens.
It's a stalemate. It's just.
It's a stalemate.
And then we'll break it down again. Aberdeen, second place, 53 points. Pretty much tied for second place as well is St. Cloud with 53 points. North Iowa, 51. So that's the playoffs as it would start tomorrow. But then you got Minot, who's 1 point out with 50. Then you have Bismarck, who's 3 points out with 48. So from second to sixth, it's anybody's
5
game.
Points. 5 points, yeah. You know what? And we talked about this before in a couple other episodes, but those loser points, like every game, if you could win in regulation, it's a bonus. If you could keep the other team from getting any kind of points, you're doing all right.
Yep. Let's go into the eastern side now. Maryland Black Bears continue as they have not left that first place spot since the beginning of the season, I want to say. They hold the division, 68 points, a record of 32, 13, 4, and 0, 6 and 4 in the past 10 games. Christian Canalano leads the team with 47 points. Right behind him is Brad McNeil with 47 points as well. Defensively, Luke Van Wy, 37, and goaltender William Hackinson has taken most of the load this season, 21, 7, and 3, a record of a goal against average of 2.20 and a .912 save percentage. So, Vinny, obviously we've talked in the past about how Maryland was untouchable. Been a little dicey for them as the Titans are buzzing again. We talked about that one of our last podcasts, how you and I were kind of thinking of who's going to sneak into these other spots or give a run for the money for Maryland. And I brought up the Maine Nordiques, how they have an older team. Obviously, they came out of fifth place earlier this year when we were talking, out of fifth place. They're in that third place spot. But let's talk about Maryland first off. Great offense up front. Catalano's kind of got the wheels turning again. He was pretty silent for a long time there. We kind of look at their top scorers as well. A few more of them. Brad McNeil, who was great at the top prospects tournament. They had Braden Picu, who showed up showed up prominently when Catalano was kind of lost in space for a second there. But, they're getting things done, and I don't know if they're going to keep that spot as the season continues to progress because they got New Jersey just gnawing at their heels.
I think the thing with Maryland is that they're deep. Like you said, like when Catalano was maybe not the hottest guy in the league or on the team, it was PQ. If Brad McNeil has been playing well of late. Keebler's been good. Kilcullen's been good on the back end with Van Wy. So like they have all these different options they can go to. It's not just a team that's primarily led by 3 or 4 guys. I mean, they've got literally 13 different guys that have at least 20 points. Mm-hmm. that's deep. I mean,
Right.
no matter what way you slice it, that's deep team, and anyone can beat you. Hackinson just set a franchise record for shutouts in a season. So I mean, he's kind of the guy, obviously, in the blue paint that we'll see in the come the postseason. But like I said, anyone can beat you on this team, and I think that's going to be a strength for them going in. Now it's a matter of that experience, that playoff experience that New Jersey has. Coming battling with adversity last year, are they
Mhm.
going to find it in these last 10 games and go on a run and get hot at the right time? That remains to be seen.
You know, yeah, it's. I think out of all the conferences, though, like this is the most spread out point wise, as we'll get into that. New Jersey, second place, 61 points. They are 29, 15, 1 and 2 on a 2 game losing streak. They're 6, 3, 0 and 1 in their past 10 games played. The Maine Nordiques have found themselves out of fifth place from the last time we talked, maybe a few times before that, into a third place spot, 57 points. So they're creeping along, trying to get up there and keep that spot at third, maybe try to move to second, but we'll see as things go on. Northeast at fourth place, 55 points, and Johnstown behind them with 50 points. Philly, sixth place with 48 points, and Danbury, seventh place spot with 11 points. But you mentioned it earlier. We talked about Philly real quick. I'm just gonna let you take it away. You got a brick wall in between the pipes down there, or up there, wherever they are.
I mean,
Northeast.
it's yeah, it's east of us. Krabacek, he's been great. 4 straight shutouts. For those wondering, I don't know the exact official record, but I know Jake Seibel had a shutout streak of like 300 minutes, and Krabacek's he's got 245, something like that. He's like, if he gets another shutout, he may break it. I have to actually do the fine math on that. So, but he's the hottest goaltender in the league, obviously, right now. Philly's the hottest team in that division with a 4 game winning streak, and they needed being 7 points out of the playoff picture. You mentioned the Maine Nordiques as well. They're 7-2-1 their last 10. And I got to be honest, I'm going to feel robbed, though, if we don't get another Northeast New Jersey playoff series after what we experienced last year. So,
Right.
but, the Maine Nordiques, they were at the Robertson Cup a few years ago. They want to get back to that point. Obviously, Coach Pinchevsky has them rolling at the right time. They're going to try to get that home ice advantage in that first round over New Jersey. They do not have any games in hand, so they're going to have to kind of turn it on a little more. But I think I like about the Maine Nordiques that, they are the leaders in that division of staying out of the penalty box. And in the playoffs, you can't be taking penalties. And obviously, the special teams are going to play a big role. So, if Pinch can get his boys going at the right time, like we spoke to him back in September at the showcase, they love him in that room. So, I mean, I like what they're doing. The Northeast Generals have been sputtering a bit, 4-6 in their last 10, but that team just works hard, man. Like last year, we saw it firsthand. I know it's players change and whatnot, but we saw it firsthand in Attleboro last year in that playoff series with the eventual champion New Jersey Titans. I mean, they were step for step with them, and they were separated by point, in the words of Brian Erickson, 0.00001 seconds. So I mean, they're evenly matched. They're a good team, and they got some of the top scorers in the league with Andrechuk and LaRusso. They just gotta get hot. They're just it's a bad time to go cold, especially right now, but you got what we said 5-6 weeks left. Now's the time. You figure it out and you get hot going into the postseason, and you never know, anything can happen.
Right. So we'll move on to what I'm thinking, and you could probably agree to this, arguably the tightest division in the NAHL. It's almost every week there's someone new atop of this division. As it sits right now, the Wisconsin Wendigo are atop of the Midwest with 63 points, 30-15, 1 and 2 on the season, 9-0, 0 1 in their past 10 games, and they're also technically on a 10-game point streak. Luke Lewandowski leads the squad, 39 points. Defensive lead is Alex Begley with 26, and Gavin Moffat has been great, 15-4, 0 and 2 in net, 1.82 goal against average at .943 save percentage, and Maxwell Beckford, who was the February goaltender of the month, 15-11, 1 and 0, 2.67 goal against average, and a .923 save percentage. I'm just going to kind of quickly jump into the rest of this division. As I stated, Wisconsin at the top, 63 points. Minnesota right behind them at second, 59. Fairbanks, third place, 57. Kenai, fourth place, 53. Anchorage, 53 points as well at fifth. Janesville, 51 points at sixth place. And then Chippewa, 50 points to round out, at seventh place with 50 points. And then Springfield will round things out, eighth place with 43 points. Pretty close?
Fairly close. And I'm just looking at this now, like, the more I'm looking at the numbers and everything too. Like Wisconsin's, I feel like just underrated. I know they're a first
Right.
year team. We saw a first year team get to the championship last year, so like maybe there's a thing going on in North American Hockey League right now with new teams. Um, but 10 game, nobody's talking about that. Like we talk about how this is like a coin flip, and they haven't, they're on a 10 game point streak.
Hmm.
Like just subtly under the radar. Like they don't blow teams out.
Right.
They just find ways to win and they get the job done. Like it's not sexy. Is it boring? Maybe no. I don't want to call
Ooh,
another team boring. I don't want
careful
to
with
get
the B
more
word.
chirps for that. No, no, don't want to get more chirp for that. But Wisconsin, I like the way they're playing right now, obviously, and I think the key for them is the two goaltenders. Moffitt was a goaltender of the month at one point this season. Now Beckford's a goaltender of the month, and as we know, goaltenders can really carry you late in the season,
Hmm.
playoffs. I mean, there's no sure thing in the Midwest Division, but I like the Wendigos' chances to win a playoff spot.
I like that. When they go to the postseason. When to go to the postseason.
Ooh,
Boom.
there
T-shirt
you go. I like that
idea.
too. There
Thank
you
you.
go.
Hit me up. They'll be on sale. Anyways, um, they'll face off against Janesville this weekend. 2 games at Janesville. Next weekend they'll be at Janesville. But it's number one versus number six. Number six takes 2 wins. They're going to jump up to third place. If number one loses 2 games and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 win, then we got another scramble of what the Midwest is going to be. So if it keeps going 1 win, 1 loss back and forth, then obviously things are going to stay the same. But those extra points, like you've talked about, getting a weekend sweep on somebody is going to be absolutely huge for the Midwest division. And I just think that this division, we're not going to know who's going to be in it till the final week.
No, not a chance. Not like there's no way this division doesn't go to the last weekend of the season, and
Mm-hmm.
hopefully the schedule gods will come through, and whoever's like 4 and 5 at the time will be playing each other that weekend. So
Yeah.
and whoever's like 1 and 2 will be playing each other for the division title. We could pray the schedule gods for that. But like Kenai River sweep, or I don't know, they didn't sweep Fairbanks, but they split with Fairbanks. They get swept by Minnesota. Fairbanks, takes care of business. They get swept by Anchorage. Anchorage loses to Janesville, and Janesville gets swept by someone. Like it's just you have no idea. You have literally no idea, and especially this is my theory. Weird things
Mm-hmm.
happen in Alaska when it's a 10:30 start Central. Or when we're out in, like when we were in Detroit a couple weeks ago, it's 11:30 p.m. Like weird things happen in the middle of the night,
Right.
and
Right.
I don't know what it is about the Alaska hockey, but like an Anchorage game, it'll be 4-0. All of a sudden you look at it's 5-4 in overtime. You're like, oh my God, what happened? Like I fell asleep. I was too tired. I couldn't stay up for the game.
Is that where the name for the movie Mystery Alaska comes from?
It has to be. It
It
has
must
to be
be.
that. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's move things down south. Oklahoma continues to be a powerhouse in the South Division, 37-9-0-1 record, 75 points, 7-3 in their past 10 games. Drew Sutton and Joe DeGreco lead the team scoring with 51 points. Defensively, Owen Baumgartner, 31, and goaltender Daniel Duras has been taking most of the time with a 22-6 record, 2.05 goal against average, and a .918 save percentage. What are they doing in Oklahoma? What are they feeding these guys?
Well, the best part about that too is that Daniel Duras, yes, very good. They had Cameron Corpy, who is like also very good. I believe a goaltender of the month at one point. He's not in the USHL. They've got those veterans. I mean, William Lawson body. I going completely blank, so I got to cheat now. But Hunter Jones is a veteran.
Yep.
Owen Baumgartner is a veteran. Like they've got all those guys that have been there, and like they're hungry. Like they've gotten to the division final. They haven't gotten to the Robertson Cup. They're ready to go. And I'm going to quote a South Division coach that I talked to at Top Prospects. Oklahoma, quote, is really bleeping good. Like they could beat you in a number of ways. They could score. They could score. They could just pound you 8-1. They could win a 2-1 game with the goaltenders that they've got. Like they're about as complete can be. Drew Sutton right now is the hot hand with 51 points, like you mentioned. Joey Del Greco's got 51 points. Brendan Williams, who we saw with the baseball style goal, the Top Prospects tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, William Lawson body I was more impressed with him off the ice than I was on the ice. He just seems like just a leader, and
Hmm.
he is the captain of that team naturally. And I just think he's got that something that's going to be special, and he's going to come up with a maybe not the flashiest goal, but he's going to
Right.
have that big goal late in a playoff game, or maybe they're down 2-1 in the series and they got to win to force a game five. And he just seems like that kind of guy that's going to get that goal with 2 minutes left and lift them to a win. So Oklahoma, I mean, they check all the boxes. They got
Right.
experience. They got offense. They got goaltending. They got a coach that's been there. I mean, Garrett Roth, while not a lot of time as a head coach, has been in the league a long time, knows the game, knows the systems, and they got a packed house. They got a home
Hmm.
ice advantage if you want to call it. They're 15-2 at home. Something crazy stupid. They just lost their
Crazy.
first home
Yeah,
game like a week ago. So they got a great barn, a great atmosphere, like all the things that you need to get to Robertson Cup. They've got it.
they're doing it. We'll take a look now at the rest of the South. The Lone Star Brahmas, they come in 31-11, 2-5, 69 points. Nice. Shreveport Mudbugs, third place, 27-14, 2-5, 61 points. New Mexico, 59 points, 28-18, 2-1 record. So that'll round out just the playoff spots as they would start, like I said, as it would start tomorrow. But Amarillo kind of right there on the bubble as well, 53 points. That's fifth place. Sixth place Odessa, 51. Then you got El Paso and Corpus, 30 points and 26 points to round out the South Division. But I don't know if it's a stretch. I don't know if I want to say what I'm going to say, but I think Oklahoma's kind of taken and had that dominance for a while at the top of the South Division this season. I know it's been back and forth with Lone Star and them, but I think that they're going to kind of hold on to this spot. And I think the last three are going to play out as the season goes on. That's just my take. Take it or leave it. Might
Well,
get called
the
boring.
the
Might get called a homer, even though I'm not from Oklahoma and whatever. But somebody will chirp me from a team in this
but no.
division.
Oh, well, if you're not getting chirped, you're not really saying anything fun, really. Let's be
It's
honest.
true.
But Lone Star and Oklahoma do not play each other the rest of the year. Lone Star just took 2 of 3 in Oklahoma, which good on them, obviously.
Hmm.
I'm just going to say this just because it just happened, February 24th and 25th, so not too long ago. But they beat Shreveport, or sorry, they lost to Shreveport 2-1 in overtime. They beat Shreveport 1-0 in the shootout. I'm going to get crap for, and I hope I get a text from RA or Wildfang, whatever, but like, that's boring. I'm sorry. Like, I know they got, 3 points, but they scored well, really, let's not even count the one shootout goal because that's a shootout goal. They scored 1 goal in 2 games. That's not going to
Right.
get the job done. That's 1 goal in 130 minutes is not going to get the job done. But they beat Oklahoma when it matters. So obviously they gained 4 points on them. And, they've proven head to head wise, they can hang with Oklahoma despite all we say about Oklahoma's offense, defense, whatever. Lone Star has a season series.
Right.
I think, let's take a look at the schedule. I got to look at the schedule now. They got 4 straight coming up with New Mexico. Those will be tough. I'm
It'll be
assuming some kind of
decided.
a split in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Then you've got 3 against Odessa, 2 against Corpus. So that's 7 of their last 11 games against right now non-playoff teams. So I mean, if you could split with New Mexico, and then you get what's considered a successful is 5 out of 7 successful
Yeah.
if you're playing against 7 playoff teams.
If you break it
So
into
I mean, that's
every 5 game
yeah. If
set,
you break
break
it
it
in
into
chunks, so
it. You
that's
want to win
7
three
wins
out
of
of
the last.
two.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're saying they win 7 out of their last 11 games, that's 14 points. That would give them, let's do math, 69 plus 14 is 83. Does that give them enough to overtake Oklahoma, who right now is 75 and has 13 games, 2 games in hand on them? I'm not sure. Lone Star is going to make a run, but if they don't go perfect through it all, I don't know if they have enough in the tank to catch Oklahoma.
Yep. I
At
agree
least in
with
the
you.
regular season. Playoffs, different story.
Different beast. Different beast. So there's our breakdown of the divisions. I know it's been a while. As they sit right now in the NAHL, NA3HL action. Just going to kind of run through the divisions and the teams that are going to be playing. They start tomorrow night. There's 4 games tomorrow night. It's Norwich at Danbury, Long Beach at Northeast, New Mexico at Roadrunners, and Milwaukee at Oregon. So handful of games that'll start the 2023 Fraser Cup playoffs off. And I love the Fraser Cup. I think it's a blast. Get down to St. Louis. some good teams down there. It's a good time. What is it? 6 total that go. So for people who aren't
Yep.
familiar, it's the 5 divisions, the winner of each division, and then a wild card, which you can explain how that gets picked or whatever, because I'll screw it up more than likely.
Well, there's 5 divisions. You'll have 5 division final series. The 5 winners obviously go, and then it's the one loser who had the most regular season points.
Okay.
So the 5 losers in the division final round. So yeah, if you don't get past the first round, there's no chance you get
Right.
in. So like we'll take Northeast Generals for example because they had the most points. If they win the first round series, they're going to go no matter what. Whether because
Right.
obviously if they win, they're in obviously. But if they lose, they would be the divisional final loser with the most points, so they'd be in. So
Okay.
it's not super complicated, but yeah, easy enough to figure out. Last year was the Gillette Wild, and if you went by who is a non-division leader with the most points, I think it's them. So if you just went by all chalk, all the division leaders win their respective playoff rounds, I think Gillette goes back. And I mean they were in first place most of the season up until Helena went on like a 16 game winning streak or something absurd. So
yeah,
I mean they're a quality team that's going to get in and be well deserving of that if that were to be the case. Obviously they got to play the games and we'll see what happens. But no, like you mentioned, Fraser Cup, great event. You see a lot of guys from that event go on to the NHL. I mean, if you want to use an example, 2 years ago we saw North Iowa versus Rochester. Shane Soderwall and Carson Stokes were the goalies in that game. Soderwall is now in Anchorage, been there for the last 2 years, and Stokes is in New Mexico right now with the Ice Wolves. So, like, guys advanced from that game. The goaltender from last year's game, Zach Weiss, going to Minnesota. D1 commitment right out of NA3. Granite City, the team that lost last year's championship, had about they would have won that game had they not had all those guys that got called up to the NHL. Possibly, all the tenders that they had a lot of advancement success last year. So I mean, it's the best of the best. It's future NA guys, especially too, like the younger guys, and then for those 20-year-olds where it's their last year junior hockey, it's plenty of solid Division III guys, and it's one last run at a trophy, which you want to call it. Between the NA or the NA3 or even the NAP, like you win a trophy with your boys, like you never forget. It's something you don't forget. It's a lifelong memory.
Right. Definitely.
I'm just going to always hang your hat on and go watch all the YouTube highlights on our social media pages.
Free shout
Small
out.
plug.
Yeah. I'm just going to run through the teams that are in each division real quick. We have an interview as well coming up once we finish this up. But Frontier Division, Sheridan Hawks, Butte Cobras, Gillette Wild, Helena Bighorns. This is in no specific order of seeding, by the way. This is just what's on our website in front of me right now. The West Division, Mason City, Wilmer Warhawks, Alexandria Blizzard, Granite City Lumberjacks. In the South, Louisiana, Texas Brahmas, Texas Roadrunners, and New Mexico Ice Wolves. On the East side, Northeast Generals, Danbury Hat Tricks, Long Beach Sharks, Norwich Sea Captains. And in the Central, it's the Rochester Grizzlies, who won it last year, defending that cup coming up here in a few weeks. I guess technically starting on Friday when they play. Oregon Tradesmen, Peoria Mustangs, and the Milwaukee Power. So good luck to all those teams. Obviously, we'll keep everybody posted on what's going on in the 3HL as the playoffs will start tomorrow. Anything else you want to add, Vinny, before we kind of toss this over to our awesome guest today?
I gotta say that the Midwest Division, I just I can't explain how just how crazy it is. I really think I'm gonna make a bold statement here. Right now, we got Wisconsin, Minnesota, Fairbanks, and Kenai currently sitting in the playoff picture as the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
My bold prediction, and I'm going to say bold here, is that 2 of those 4 teams will not make the playoffs. Okay. I don't know if it's that bold given that, Kenai, I guess, tied and Fairbanks only has a 4-point cushion. But, I just think there's so much craziness in that division where, you just don't know what to expect. So I'm thinking 2 of those teams that are out, maybe in Anchorage, who got to the Robertson Cup a year ago, made some moves, and now is, trying to fight their way back in there. Chippewa, Adam Gayan, I mean, maybe one of the top prospects and goalies in the world. Maybe he can carry them to a playoff spot. They're 3 points out, won 7 of their last 10. I think the Midwest Division will be the most exciting division to watch. But I gave you my bold statement that two of the 4 teams that are currently in will not get in. I'm not going to say
All
who
right.
though, because I'm not going to get yelled at.
All right, I like that. I like that. Anyways, thank you for that. We're going to toss things over to our guest, Kendall Hanley, who is the manager of officiating for the North American Hockey League. Yeah, we'll send it right over to Kendall. Welcome back in. We're joined here with our guest for episode 9, Kendall Hanley, the officiating or manager of officiating for the North American Hockey League. In her 14-year career, Kendall has officiated games at the local, district, national, professional, and international level. Her experiences span from the NCAA Division I and D2 levels, junior hockey leagues, all of them, men's and women's professional hockey leagues. On the international side, Hanley has officiated numerous tournaments from around the world, from the International Ice Hockey Federation, including the 2019 U18 Women's World Championship in Slovakia, the 2021 Women's World Championship in Canada, and most recently the Women's Ice Hockey Tournament at the 2022 Olympic Games in Beijing, China, where she was selected to work the gold medal game. Hanley has broken down numerous barriers for women in the officiating world. She was the first woman at the NHL Robertson Cup Championship, in addition to 2 NHL Top Prospects games in 21 and 2019. She was the first of 4 female officials to work the NHL Prospects Tournament in 2019. She was additionally selected to work the 2021 NHL Top Prospects in Tampa Bay as well. And in December, she was the first female to officiate a professional game in Wisconsin as a part of the AHL's first class of 10 female officials, first of women as well, to earn the 2021 Ben Allison Award, given annually to an official in the USA Hockey Officiating Development Program. Welcome in to Short Shifts Podcast, Kendall Hanley. A heck of an intro there for you.
Holy goodness.
Like, I think I've been to a few places. And I think the odometer on my car would also align with all those trips. So no, I really appreciate you guys having me on. So
anytime. First off, again, some big accomplishments for yourself there. But kind of walk us out or through your career, because obviously you played growing up, you played in college, and then you became an official after all those. But just put us in your skates from the time being to the time now.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the hockey hotbed of America, Raleigh, North Carolina. I think when I started, I taught myself how to skate. I played a lot of street hockey with tennis balls and our recycling bins, and we had to replace the recycling bins that we broke. So, I remember watching the Rangers win the Stanley Cup with my dad on the floor and looking at the sport and just being like, wow, I want to do that. And at the time, it was well before the Carolina Hurricanes showed up. So I went to a lot of ECHL games back in the day, the Raleigh Ice Caps. And back that was way before netting and things existed for your safety. So, chased a lot of pucks, got a lot of broken sticks from the manager. And that's how we pieced together our equipment. Cardboard does not work very well for goalkeeper equipment. And traditional pucks, tennis balls, not so bad. But, we just had fun. We were imaginative, and we did what we could to just create the game and recreate it in the streets. And then, eventually I wanted to play ice hockey. I would go to the Cary Ice House, which still exists. Friday night lights for me was the Cary Ice House with all the incredible jock jams going on back in that day. And I go to open skate. My dad would just drop me off, and I go out there in my rentals, and I kind of just taught myself how to skate. And eventually my first job was at the Cary Ice House. Skate rental, pizza parties, you name it. I was the rink rat from the get-go. And, it took a little while, but we finally convinced my mom to let me play. And we told her that goalie was the safest position. So my brother played for a year, and then we got her to the point where she's like, all right, fine, you can play. And so I went out and I joined a Pee Wee team then. And back then you still had checking and Pee Wee hockey. So, away we went. I got a lot of penalties. I think, from my dad was my volunteer coach, and right from the get-go, I just loved the game. So, fast forward, I had a goal playing in college, and I had an incredible opportunity to go to, Elmira College, coming out of Raleigh, and the path to get there, though, was ultimately, I did everything through my junior year in Raleigh, played with girls, played with the boys. And then I went to this incredible small school in Massachusetts, Williston, Northampton. And it was great fit for me just academically and athletically because I was an athletic kid and I played all the sports. And in hockey there, you have a rink on campus. So once again, I figured out a way to get extra ice time creatively. And it's a couple 5 a.m., somehow the door was open. I won't get anybody in trouble, but so I had that incredible experience, and that kind of helped me reach my goal of playing in college. And for a kid in North Carolina, and when I started, there really wasn't many female athletes around also playing. It was me and maybe a few others, especially in the Southeast District. To have that chance was awesome, and I went and really enjoyed my experience at Elmira. Obviously, we were really incredibly successful, awesome coaches. And then eventually decided that, well, I got to do something with my life and figure out my degree. And my degree is in zoology. So, which totally makes a lot of sense. I wanted to be a vet at the time. It was either going to be a vet or I was going to be, Steve Irwin was my next path. So, SUNY Oswego was a great fit. So I went there for 2 years as well, got to travel abroad. I examined ice I ran a rink in Townsville, Queensland, North Queensland and Townsville, while I was abroad studying, and we created a little 3v3 hockey league there. And so I got done with school, and it was sad because it's been such an incredible part of my life, and everywhere I've been, I always found a way to play or be on the ice or be involved. And I got done with school and spring break, and I was just like, what in the world am I going to do? Because at the time, you didn't really have these professional paths that now exist and continue to evolve, like every season even. Coaching was there. People were breaking barriers in coaching. But I had really never thought of officiating, which is kind of funny given I had a lot of penalty minutes. And until I met somebody, like literally met somebody at spring break in Dallas here. And it was at that pickup session. She could skate. I was just like, hey, what do you do? And she explained to me she'd done a little college, and what she was doing now was officiating. And she was starting to get tracked in on the IHF side. And I was like, what? And it was this whole new world that was open to me that I had never thought about. And it was all these great things that I loved about playing the game, your teamwork, your camaraderie, your goal setting, the chaos, the game itself, the challenges, the adversity. And my mind was forever changed. So I fast tracked up to Oswego, finished my semester there. But, in order to officiate, you got to have a seminar. And back then they still did spring seminars. So I drove from Oswego, New York down to Philly, found the only last level one in the Northeast. Didn't have my hockey helmet with me. So Ed Gosick, the men's Oswego coach, gave me a green helmet. So I went down to my clinic with a green helmet on. So, because clearly I knew everything at that point, and did my level one, and then flew to Dallas and drove home to Dallas that summer and jumped into the mentor program. And that's kind of just what started it all. I just happened to meet the right people at the right time and have this knowledge shared with me that opened the world to me of officiating. And that's kind of what I've been doing for 16 years is it's just like playing.
Right.
So
one side thing, I guess, you went to school for zoology, but you are kind of a zoologist as you work with zebras every day.
Absolutely. Yes. I work with animals every day. There's a lot of, there's a lot of scooping things of things. So, and that's always my joke too. Right. But, exactly. A lot of the skill sets from zoology translate over.
So Kendall, I mean, obviously going from playing to officiating is one heck of a transition, because usually everyone's, cheering you on when you're playing, and then all of a sudden everyone hates you when you're officiating. What's that transition like, going from, being, loved on the ice to probably the most hated and most criticized person on the ice?
Well, I don't think it was that hard for me because I don't think many people loved me on the ice as it was as a player. So, but no, I mean, honestly, you're out there, and frankly, you really don't. I mean, it's part of the game. It's just the game. Like you're in a role. You're here to serve the game, and the best games are where no one notices you. So that's where you strive to be. You strive to just be on the ice, call what you see, make the right calls. And obviously, you're going to be in instances where maybe you don't make the right call for the game, or you mess up, or there's an error, or maybe you miss something. And I think that's what makes our game so great, is the emotion and passion in the game, the fan experiences, especially in the North American Hockey League. Like some of the incredible people that I've met, whether it be the fan base or, the off ice crews, or just the people in this game. And it's just it's that going into your role. If you expect to come into officiating and not be booed, or people, they're gonna 50% of the people are gonna be happy with what you call, 50% aren't. And you just go out and you do your job, and you do your job to the best of your ability, and strive for excellence and not perfection, and that's all you can do.
So, Kendall, in your intro there, I kind of mentioned different leagues and stuff that you've have worked in, but kind of elaborate on that. Obviously, just about every level of junior hockey, NCAA D1, it said D3, and then some pro as well. But just kind of walk us through where you've been, and kind of maybe like a cool, fun story from one of the three levels.
Sure. I think, yeah, I mean, obviously it all starts foundationally, building that base and that skill set, and everybody's path and journey is going to be different. I started locally in Dallas and worked through the system that was in place there, the mentor program, and then they had a really incredible advanced development program. So you jump in, you work your ladders, you squirt hockey. I built my way from adult
Mm-hmm.
hockey, advanced to the squirt hockey, and then up that ladder here in Dallas, all the way through the tier. And just like the playing side, there's development camps. There's a process in place. So for the women's side, and the guys side, so the men and the women's side, your foundational first kind of camps are generally, you strive to work, get to that futures camp on the national level. And along the way is going to usually be a district camp or some sort of spring camp that you go to. Maybe it's affiliate run or state run, then district run. And so for me, that like kind of key critical camp was the Rocky Mountain District Advanced Officials experience. So the staff there really helped educate me on how to be a professional and what it means to be, work these levels that I aspired to work at, whether it was on the men's or the women's side. And, frankly, I view hockey as hockey, and I view athletes as athletes, and every level that you work is, you want to make sure that you're setting yourself up and you're ready to serve that level. And sometimes we're maybe pushing at a level that we haven't seen, but I've been very fortunate to be guided by a lot of great people who have looked at where I'm at within my skill set and where I am foundationally, and set me up for success. And so you go through this camp, so the futures camp there with USA Hockey, and then on into and then you go out back, work your season. Then you work, now we have something on the women's side, and the men's side is high performance camp. But 2011 I did futures, or 2012 I did futures, and then 2013 season I did the elite camp. So then I ended up going to the elite experience, where you come up and you work the summer camp. Back then it was in Blaine. For the women has their tryouts in August. So you work that camp and you come out of it, and you may or may not have an invitation to get an IHF license. So that's kind of your tryout for the international level. And you can either come out of it with license or not, and you're not really certain until you get something in the mail. And I was very fortunate to receive a license that season, and also stay and work that Canada US 18 series. So there's a huge development pipeline and process behind the scenes, and the big thing is sharing that knowledge and educating people on those pathways. And there's no wrong or right thing for somebody to do. And so you do, I was tracking in on those camps. And then, for me, in Dallas, I had kind of mastered everything that was around outside of, hey, we have an incredible footprint in junior hockey here. So the North American Hockey League back in those days. So 13-14 season, I went to a spring tryout camp here, ran by, the group and the ODP, and jumped on the ice and skated. And that's how I earned the opportunity to be offered some part-time opportunities with North American Hockey League. And did some 3HL here as well. So, it was part-time. And then I for a little while was a coach and a director of hockey, went to Colorado, worked some hockey out there. And then, eventually did my 2 years there, and really just was like, I want to give it my all and put everything I have. And I was very fortunate to have an incredible family and partner and support system to be able to take a step at that point and say, let's give it my all in. And I got an invite to be a part of the USA Hockey Officiating Development Program's full-time camp. And, and that was 16-17. So from then on, I've been a part of that program, and obviously navigating the Midwest, the USHL, the North American League, the 3HL. I worked the WCHA for a while, based on where I lived. I was in Minnesota, so I was fortunate to have that opportunity. And again, just you're tracking through all these leagues and levels and opportunities and working, trying to master each level. right, and serve the game. And the combine is the NHL officiating exposure camp for the NHL's piece of the puzzle they hold in Buffalo every season. So I put my name in a hat for there, and I was selected, 2019 to do that, and went there. And coming out of that, that's where we got our invite to the rookie tournament. That our first four officials that kind of on the women's side that went and worked our rookie tournaments that year. And then we were invited back to work the NHL All-Star game and the Elite 3v3 that they held for the women in St. Louis, which was an incredibly special experience. And, from there, we have the pandemic and we had a lot of ups and downs. And, sometimes it's just all about the timing. And I was just very fortunate to kind of be tracking into and receiving assignments at the right time. And, obviously going and doing my best, and, people saw something special in me and felt I was deserving of the opportunity to represent, our country and our team in Beijing and Worlds and the IHF side. And, we have a lot of incredible teammates. There's a lot of, officials that are desiring those spots. And, the other side of it would be, what I was able to accomplish with the AHL. And again, at the end of the day, we're just pushing to be the best official that we can be. Yes, we're men, we're women, but it's all about being the best official that you can be and pushing yourself. So I think it's pretty incredible what groups like the North American Hockey League, the NHL, the AHL are doing to, again, in USA Hockey, to say officials are officials. And we're breaking down these doors to say we want the best person to serve the game on the ice. And so it's been obviously an honor to be a part of that. But, I also want to give credit to all the many, many, many women before me that, were incredible, that helped me be who I am today. And that's kind of that path of where I got. And, a special story I would say to cap it off would be Challenge Cup of Asia in Bangkok, in Thailand. It was my first assignment back out of the gate. I got 3 days notice that I was going to pivot to Bangkok. They had an opening. It's basically the foundational camp for, that area where it's women learning how to officiate. It's a training camp style. You work games. You're also doing off ice. So this was 16-17 season. I just flew out of the gate, got over there. And some of my teammates, they just learned maybe how to skate, and this was their first time officiating. And we're in a mall, the 7th floor of this mall.
Oh, wow.
In Bangkok. And it's probably, it's huge. Like, you get lost. There's, you go work your hockey game. You're like, oh, here's your coupon to go eat lunch. Oh, let's go eat sushi. And you walk past like McDonald's, 4 McDonald's, and then you finally get to the sushi restaurant. But I think the cool experience about that is, end of the tournament is over. It's round robin type situation. They have all the teams on the ice, including ours. We're all lined up on the ice in our teams. And they go through and call everybody out. You skate up and get your certificate, and I'm just kind of like, well, this is kind of different. Normally we just get off the ice, at events, and everybody's cheering for everybody. You've got, just these programs and these women that have come so far. Teams that score their first goal in the tournament ever for their country. It's the growth is incredible to be a part of that. So we're cheering for everybody. Well, they get to our team, and it was insane. I've never seen a group of, get an ovation, officials get an ovation the way that we did for being a part of this. And we're all on the ice together. And it took us, I think, an hour to get off the ice because of everybody wanting to take photos and the social media. And so there's photos of me on a bench with some of the players from like Singapore, or rowing on I'm pushing them all around on the ice. I'm probably probably mid-30s at this point. I'm just pushing people around on a bench, and we're recreating rowing across the ice, just having fun. So it's just that organic, mix of the growth of the sport and just everybody's love of the game. That was probably one of the coolest moments, I'd say, and just unique moments that you never think you would see yourself at or have that experience.
Speaking of moments that I don't think many people see themselves in, is a gold medal game at the Olympics. That just the whole experience, Beijing. Tell us about that, because you had a few stories that you've given us, not so much off the air today, but over the course of the year that we've been all working together. Beijing, COVID, all the things going on. What was that experience on and off the ice like?
I think the experience just to get there, it's an Olympics like no other. No one's ever gonna, I think, have the experience that we had with, people are like, oh, is it, they asked me, oh, it's bad, it stinks that you didn't have the normal experience. And I'm like, yes and no. We had our own experience. And I want to give the credit to obviously my teammates, my coaches, our administrators, folks like Joel Hansen and the IHF and the medical staff. Like, we'd have calls every other day and stuff would pivot on a whim where we'd have a plan. And then the next day we'd all come together as a team. Like, we're in our homes and houses and quarantines and, hiding away from everything, because if, essentially if you got COVID leading up to the games, you couldn't go. And so you've got people who have been tracking in for 4 years, 8 years, 12 years. There's women that have been on this track now for 12 years that are trying to make it to, this is their dream. And, testing, one simple little test could be the factor of you going and you've been selected for that dream now. And we had people that we lost as part of that kind of last few weeks process. And it was incredibly hard and sad and challenging. And, to know that we weren't going to be able to be there with them. We still took them with us. We found ways to include them, but, it's, there was a lot of just like, stress behind the scenes, just to get there and make it happen. And then once you're there, it really wasn't real. I don't think we really felt that kind of like, until you step on the ice for that first game and you're skating around and you're there and then that puck drops. And then it's just like, okay, sweet. We have hockey again. I mean, up until that puck drop, I was actually, thankfully, I live in Minnesota because I was able to sneak out to the pond. There's a park just down from me in January. So I was doing a lot of skating and by myself in the middle of the night, just away from people, where I'd go out and, shovel off the rink and just to try and stay sharp and stay active. Because like my last game up before that was end of December in the North American Hockey League in Richfield. And then I locked her all down because you just had to. And, it was just like that moment there in particular, I think we all looked at each other and we got off the ice and it was just like, almost like just like, we're here. Like reality set in that we were there and obviously we were focused on the game and doing our job. But, it's that first puck drop, I think was when it all just like, great, we can go back to just doing what we do and what we love in our jobs. And like that stuff is, we still had to be super obviously mindful of everything when we were navigating that structure. We had a lot of restrictions and we couldn't go anywhere. But you know what? I think I wouldn't have it any other way because the women that we were with were incredible. Like our team had gone through all this stuff now. Obviously even, Calgary, well, in May, we had our tournament whacked in, the original world championships had been canceled in May for Halifax and got shifted to Calgary. So, we were going through all of this stuff together. Our, Calgary happened and then we were all into our Olympic qualifiers in our training camp over in Copenhagen and then the 3 qualifiers that happened. So Sweden. And so by then we were so used to being locked together in rooms. Like it was actually like fun. Cause you kind of know what's going to set somebody off. So you just kind of learn to navigate and like, oh, all right, I'm not going to do that today or so-and-so, just to be, it was challenging, but it was just a lot of fun moments, that you're never going to be able to recreate. And I know that's crazy to think about, but so then you're at the Olympics and it's, you're doing your business. It's competition. Elite people have trained for their life to be there, the teams, us, everything that you do matters off and on the ice. So, it's just, you adapt and that's just what you have to do as an athlete, but even as an official, especially, you just adapt to the environment that you're getting. And, the last game, obviously, of the tournament is an incredible memory, but I look at my team and, the women, I truly feel that they're all on the ice with me, with us, the 4 of us. It's ultimately we had an incredible group. And I just know that was a really challenging decision for our coaches to make of who's, on that last game. So it's an incredible honor, and just to be able to be a part of that team is an honor because it was something else. I'll tell you that. So, and it was a little odd coming home because I was around people again and I hadn't been for probably 2 years. So
yeah, that's crazy. That's such a cool story. Yeah, I couldn't imagine just kind of hitting the ice on world TV with millions of eyeballs watching and then being out there. But super cool. Let's kind of fast forward. Let's talk about what you're up to now. Obviously, here at the North American Hockey League, I believe this week, a year ago, is kind of when we all had our first Zoom call together when the NA brought you on board. But talk about this year so far, what you've been up to. Obviously, the hat right there speaks for a huge thing that you've created, and that that the whole league is very backed and all about. And it starts from the PHO to the NA3HL up to the NAHL, but the next shift initiative for referees. And I'll leave it at that and let you to run with that, Kendall.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been a year, so I feel bad for you guys because you've been stuck with me for a year now. But I think we've all been, as a league, been able, and obviously Keith, my incredible teammate, who got me into this. I think we've been able to accomplish so much. We've got a pipeline as far as, we're focused on development, educating, exposure, experience, and that's what this is about. And support. The biggest thing is support. And being a part of something, being a part of a team. And I truly believe, obviously the league has just been incredible in allowing Keith and myself to go out and create, help create that culture and evolve what we do. So we've got, everything at the entry level. If you're someone who's been playing hockey and you're getting done like myself, playing and you just are not sure how to stay in the game, coaching looks fun. There's other roles that you can do, but you really just want to stay on the ice and you're active and you have goals. Officiating, that's what next shift is about. It's an opportunity to stay involved in the game, and it's a role that not many people think about when they get done. So it's great. We start you, get you rolling, set you up, get registered with USA Hockey, guide you through that process, help you get set up locally with your community, because it's so important that you're getting opportunities within your community, and it starts with that foundation and base there. And then builds itself up, and hopefully you can be a part of what we do. And this year we had 8 officials, and they transitioned fully into what we did at every level. And we had everybody came in at one point into our PHL program. And while there's no guarantee on that, I think it's been positive as far as how that initiative is and it's launched. And, we've got great mentors in that program that help. So every official in that program has a mentor that they can speak with and kind of go and work with. So we've got the entry level all the way up through the North American Hockey League, and everything we do, I consider it to be a family, because what we do, at the PHL translates into the 3HL and then North American Hockey League, and we're a part of a family, and you're in and out of it. It's a little different from the playing side because you're in and out of different leagues. 1 week I could be skating in the PHL, and then the next weekend I'm in the North American Hockey League, and guiding people on how to navigate that. It's all about becoming a professional. A lot of the officials that work within our network, they aspire to work college, professional hockey, international hockey, and they dream big, NHL. And part of navigating that process is learning to navigate and master each league, and making sure that when you're in a league, you know how to operate and what to, those expectations upon yourself. So that's what we've been on. We've been working to build just a family culture, connectivity, support system, and just help officials be officials. Coaches, we've brought in incredible coaches and into the programs that we have, and they're there to help the officials. People just want to get back to the game and be a part of what we do. And every area we've gone, whether it be Dallas or Minnesota or out east to, Astor, Middletown, there's these incredible connectivity with the local groups there where we work together to build, opportunities for officials that might not be in our family yet. Just even if they come in and get, positive feedback, get some coaching that's going to help them be a better official in their other leagues. That's what our goal and role is building, better, helping people achieve their dreams and being a little piece of that puzzle.
All right. So Kendall, you explained how we're going to get these guys, to that next level. How do they get involved? Let us know, and I guess let them know how they get involved and how they can get into the program and start their way working out.
Absolutely. So if you're already an official, we have that pathway and process. One is just go to our website, whether it be the North American League, the 3HL, or the PHL website. Jump on there. There's actually an officiating tab, so you can submit your show of interest, submit your officiating resume to us. We got a ton of opportunity. And depending on the official, we figure out where you fit into our family of leagues and those opportunities. In season, we just wound down. We're kind of winding down this season, but obviously within a season, we've got the North American Prospects Hockey League, the 3HL, and the North American League on our junior side. And then off season, as we had in the spring, we have pivoted. We have these player combines, North American player combines. Well, we've transitioned these into development opportunities. So we pivoted 3 of these camps this year to be full-blown exposure camps where you come in, work with our staff. It's a camp structure. You're coming in, you're working games in both the 3 or 4 official system. You're getting feedback. We're running you through the on and off ice testing that you guys would experience, whether it be our league, the expectations we have for officials working and navigating our leagues, especially at the junior level and then beyond. Because your goal is pro hockey or international hockey, college hockey. The expectation is that you're in peak physical conditioning, and that's what our expectation is for our officials. So educating people on kind of what that looks like, and then for those people who have never officiated or maybe have very, very limited experience, we've got the next shift, and that gets you started on that path, educates you. We kick it off. The application is live and going right now on our website. Again, navigate to that officiating tab, and you'll see the next shift, and you can apply online. And that's going to be open here this spring, and then we get going with our program in July. And you work with me through December, and then we have an incredible group that's involved in that. So there's multiple ways you can get involved, whether you are currently an official or you strive to be.
And let's be clear, serious inquiries only. This isn't for people that want to be like me and just go do a couple beer leagues on a Wednesday night just for some extra cash. These are guys you want that want to improve their skills and get want to pursue potentially a career in officiating.
Correct. Obviously we want to build officials for life. So, we've had, but essentially, ideally, we do want that official that is striving to work higher levels of hockey in the long term. So junior hockey and beyond. The program definitely certainly is going to set officials up to be officials for life first and foremost, but we truly want those folks who strive to be, in that NHL, in that ECHL, in that college hockey setting, international hockey setting. So that's the goal and focus of the program. And it doesn't matter who you are. You could be someone like myself, or you could be someone like, Killian McNamara, who started with the North American Hockey League and has just got hired full-time with the NHL this summer. So he's been working hard this season, his first full-time year with the NHL. We want officials, so it doesn't matter who you are.
All right, Kendall, we appreciate all your time and everything you're doing for the leagues. Obviously, it's been 1 year in, and we're very excited to see what comes to fruition from all the hard work you've been doing for us.
Nope, I appreciate you guys having me on, and obviously it's been fun to talk to you guys. And I'll go work on managing some more animals. So.
Thanks again to Kendall. That was awesome to have her on and kind of hear her full story of her playing career going into her reffing career and just every stop she's made on the way. And then again, thanks for everything she does here. It's pretty cool meeting a lot of these referee guys and gals and just kind of getting to know their story as well, and some big stuff. Like, obviously, everybody needs refs, so it's great that we're providing something that can help at all of our levels.
I mean, I lost kind of track of where all the places she's been, but it sounded like almost every continent on Earth, basically.
Right.
I heard,
Bangkok,
Thailand, obviously Beijing. I had no idea there was any kind of ice hockey whatsoever in Bangkok. And I don't know, you've seen Hangover too, with all those rolling blackouts, right. How they keep the ice frozen all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
it was definitely, I learned a lot there, because I never, and I've learned a lot throughout the time we've known Kendall, is that there's so much that goes into the officiating stuff that nobody else thinks of at all.
Right. I agree. Again,
that whole pathway, the whole just the training things they do. Yeah.
It's nuts. Yeah. And then their stuff will start here in a few weeks. Fraser Cup, a lot of stuff going on for the next shift and getting the referees in there and all that good stuff. But anything else you want to add, Vinny? I guess episode 9 possibly in the books.
No, I mean I already gave my I gave out
Spiel.
a bold prediction already. I called the team a little bit boring. If we'll see if RA has a response. And no, I think that's all for now. And I'm really looking forward to the Frazier Cup, and I'm looking forward to this chase for the playoffs in the NA because
Mhm.
I mean, really, there's no like. Oh, actually, there's one more thing. I believe, if my math is right, Oklahoma can be the first team to clinch a playoff spot this weekend.
Oh, wow. That's news to me. Thank you for that.
So there you go. Yeah. Well,
Perfect.
if my math's good, I gotta check the math. Math was
Yeah,
not a
recheck the
strong
math.
suit, so we're not gonna.
Yeah, recheck the math. Get back
I'm
to me.
feeling good about it though.
I love it. Right on. And thank you to everybody tuning in again. Episode 9 here in the books. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Brandon. That's Vinny, and we'll see you next time. So easy enough.